tribalism is not helpful to us.
Right.
And so if we can work together, Algorand just mentioned that they're going to work on this, we're going to work on this,
and we're going to make sure we start to talk about whether we can collaborate as well, so it's good.
Oh wow,
yeah,
fantastic.
possibly.
That's
and we're going to talk about how we can collaborate with the things you were talking about for scam identification and dealing with it. I think that we can work together in a lot of ways as an industry.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As ladies and gentlemen, that was an emotional video for me to watch. All of you know that XRP is my largest holding in crypto and takes up the biggest part of my portfolio. But you also know that HBAR is my second largest crypto holding. Watching Brad Garlinghouse and the co-founder of Hedera talk about collaborating, working closer together genuinely brought tears to my eyes. I told every single one of you tribalism in crypto is toxic. There is no reason for it. We do not need it. It does not make us more money, so we're looking at the collaboration take place with my two largest holdings is exciting. Throw Algorand in there and you have a trifecta of powerhouses working to better the crypto industry and make more money for all of us crypto investors. This is what I like to see, and this is what the crypto community needs. Get excited, my friends. It's a special time in the crypto industry. Now we're going to continue discussing all the happenings from Davos because it's important you guys all continue to remain informed about what the most powerful discussions are in the mainstream and also behind the scenes at the World Economic Forum. These political elite are the ones that decide our fate. These people lay out the agenda in front of you, and I have a number of bullet points that I specifically have to take away from Davos. The biggest one being the CFTC is likely going to lead the way for crypto regulations over the SEC. The SEC is disempowered. The entire world is on the precipice of crypto adoption. Regardless of the US lagging behind with regulations, I believe this will be the year for stablecoin regulations. I believe CBDCs will be full force, full-fledged attack back half of 2024 and into 2025, and these are all things I've been taking into account. Artificial intelligence is going to make major strides in 2024 and really hit all of humanity right in the face. And these are all things you need to be prepared for. All I'm doing to prepare for the world completely shifting, resetting, and having a technological renaissance, if you will, is betting my chips on the right horses. A lot of people want to critique and say, hey, you're just over here talking about XRP every day and you've been wrong into infinity and beyond, and that couldn't be further from the truth. We've been absolutely right. We've been right about everything. They'll call you crazy until it happens, and then they call you a genius when it does. When they can no longer benefit, that's when they acknowledge the truth. But they'll have been on the sidelines watching all of our rises, and we would have all become the new 1%. Ladies and gentlemen, I see no better way than for all of you to see for yourselves what impact Ripple's had and what impact XRP will have moving forward. Then to listening to Brad at Davos. The past couple videos I'll have been reviewing quite a number of clips from Brad Garlinghouse, and the reason is this is the most active I've seen him at Davos. He's been there every year for the past couple years, but this is the one where the World Economic Forum really showcased him. Ripple took out the dirty laundry of regulation here in America. We did not benefit from the price in the last bull run, but it's because we had a more important job to do, and that's to make the crypto industry thrive in the States. We pioneered a path forward, my friends. And yes, we lost out to the likes of Dogecoin in the 2021 bull run, as frustrating as that is. But while nonsense was making millions, the big boys were building bridges. I believe that a lot of utility tokens that did not get a full-fledged moon mission last cycle will benefit handsomely this one, the likes of XRP, HBAR, and I'll go a few examples. Because real solutions, when real problems arise, will make a real impact on price in our portfolios. And I can't stress this enough, my friends. The time for waiting is gone. 2024 is the year of a full-blown breakout for crypto. Millionaires will be made. if you've been positioned for a while and if you know how to play the game during the bull market, and I'm warning all of you, position your pennies next to these billionaires' dollars and you will become the new 1%. Guys, I'm gonna start playing this clip and breaking it down step by step so you all realize how bullish you need to be. And if you haven't been paying enough attention to crypto over the past couple months, or even in 2023, you'd better pay extremely close attention in 2024.
Joining me right now here at the World Economic Forum in Davos is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to get your take on the impact of this
Ladies
ETF
and gentlemen,
approval. What have you
how
seen?
many times have I told you the exact same thing?
In large part because I think it's
It genuinely means the world to hear Brad Garlinghouse echoing that sentiment, but also understand that now on standby will be an Ethereum ETF as well. This is institutional credibility for the crypto industry with the Bitcoin ETF. Bitcoin opened the door for Ether, and roughly around the same an Ethereum ETF will get decisions made on it in March, April. The official total conclusion of Ripple versus SEC will come, and it will only add more fuel to the fire of the crypto industry's growth.
And Ripple enables global financial institutions. Take us through that. How?
So Ripple, at its core, we sell blockchain technologies and solutions to enterprises. We focus primarily on financial institutions. We started with a payments solution to settle cross-border settlement for banks, for PSPs. Typically, cross-border payments have been slow. They've been expensive. Using these technologies, we can dramatically reduce the cost and increase the speed and efficiency.
And now you're seeing financial services institutions try to get their own strategy with regard to blockchain underway. How has that changed the dynamic for Ripple?
Well, I think anytime you have a new technology, it's nascent, and although crypto's kind of been around for 10 or almost 12 years, let's say, it's still new. And I think you have a lot of large organizations, even JP Morgan, despite Jamie Dimon's comments about how he thinks about crypto, they're investing heavily in blockchain technologies. Now, that being said, I think in order for blockchain to thrive and for the largest population to benefit from these technologies, you can't have insular closed networks. Like the whole point, it's kind of like the internet. The internet opened up networks. You had AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy. Along comes the internet to create interoperability. Crypto does that and can do that across many banks and to provide dramatic improvements to how we think about money movement and really any transaction.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you all need to remember is this. All this interoperability is going to win over the walled garden one-coin approach. The Maxis will never win against the totality of the crypto market. And if I were to bet the field or Bitcoin, I will bet the field in this technological revolution. I think all of you in the general crypto community and XRP community especially agree with me, and that's the big reason why we're here. And that's why I have to say that video I played in the beginning was so important to me. That is happening at a grand scale right now. And despite how nascent this technology is, we've seen higher prices from XRP in 2017. XRP was $3.50 based on absolutely nothing but a rumor that we were going to get listed on Coinbase. Now look at everything that's under the hood. Fundamentals don't matter in regards to price until they are the only thing that matters until you need those solutions. And in 2024, I believe XRP is going to be needed by the global system. And I think there are going to be numerous XRP catalysts that trigger our price action.
And with any new technology, I question whether or not those writing the laws around the regulation framework really understand the technology. Now, recently, you called the Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler a, quote, political liability to the United States. You said he's acting in the interests of citizenry or the long-term growth of the economy, that he's not acting on behalf of customers and users. Tell us more.
Well, look, I think Gary Gensler has prioritized hiring more lawyers to litigate the industry. And this is often described as, or kind of regulation through enforcement. if we just took the time to codify rules of the road, most of the industry in crypto wants to follow the rules of the road. Countries around the world have leaned in. Even the European Union, 27 countries in the European Union have come together to create a construct for how crypto should be regulated. In the United States, we haven't done this work. I jokingly suggested maybe what we should just do is type into ChatGPT, how should the U.S. That's more than the U.S. SEC has done. And it's frustrating. And I think, I guess yesterday there was a court hearing between Coinbase and the SEC. And the judicial system continues to slap down the SEC because they're overreaching. They're overstepping what the laws say. It's the reason why they lost the case against Ripple. It's the reason why they lost the case against Grayscale. It's the reason why they were dragged kicking and screaming to have an ETF. Thus, as I was quoted, I think Gary Gensler hasn't been acting. He's been acting on almost his own agenda, not the people's agenda in the United States. I wish I had a clear answer to that. I think these are technologies that are here to stay. And the ETF approval is, I think, further indication of that. It's just frustrating that we're spending so much time in the judicial process to get clarity when we could do that, as many other countries like Japan, the UK, the UAE, Switzerland, here in Switzerland. These are not small economies. They're doing the work to provide that clarity. And in the U.S., I think it's become a political agenda, not a policy agenda.
Ladies and gentlemen, like a lot of you know and realize already, the SEC was handed a massive punch in the gut in their court case against Coinbase. And something I've just been noticing with the loss the SEC suffered against Ripple. With the loss the SEC suffered against Grayscale. And with the loss the SEC just had against Coinbase is that, frankly, if the SEC doesn't have the lawyers, they do not have legal talent. They cannot enforce these cases because competent lawyers. They don't want the job because the long term is on the other side of government tyranny. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in for such better times in the crypto space. It's not even funny. We are past that now we try to fight you phase. And we are in the now we win phase. The saying goes, first they ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they try to fight you and then you win. They ignored us in 2017. They laughed at us in 2021 with the stupid NFTs and JPEG monkeys. They fought us in 2022 and 2023 with all these lawsuits, but in 2024 we win.
From someone who studied this as many years as you have, what would be the proper framework on a regulatory environment that needs to be in place?
Well, I think the number one thing I think about is not about regulating the technology. It's about regulating the outcomes and the activity. Just because we have new technologies, we should still care about things like KYC, know your customer. We should still care about anti-money laundering, AML. Those are principles that are, I think, sacrosanct. I think the U.S. SEC has been trying to expand their remit to say, well, this new market, a $1.7 trillion market of crypto assets, is going to be under the remit of the SEC in the United States. The law does not support that. The CFTC is a much more natural regulator. And things people will say, well, what about FTX? And, ironically, Gary Gensler was meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried repeatedly. FTX isn't about a crypto fraud. FTX is about a fraud. It happens to have been crypto, and it definitely was a self-inflicted wound for the industry. But one of the reasons I'm excited for what is ahead in 2024 is the headwinds of these self-inflicted wounds have largely abated.
Are you clear on who the regulators are? Because it seems like there are still questions, SEC, CFTC, or maybe everybody.
Well, in the U.S., there's still confusion, for sure. Outside of the U.S., and the reason why Ripple has continued to grow very quickly outside the U.S., 95% of our customers are non-U.S. financial institutions. 75% of our hiring last year was outside the United States because of this. But yet, if you go back to the earliest days of the Internet, the U.S. did the work and provided clarity of how the Internet would be regulated. And the Internet today is, on a geopolitical basis, has benefited the United States more than any other country.
It's a great point. I want to get your take on what the CEO of Circle said. He says he sees a strong chance that the U.S. passes laws for stablecoin issues this year. Brad, tell us about the stablecoin and the potential looming regulation there.
So I think the regulation there is appropriate. I think it is the priority on Capitol Hill. I've spent a bunch of time in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Treasury, stablecoins, 95+% of the market of stablecoins is the U.S. dollar stablecoin. You have Tether, you have USDC. And I think the U.S. Treasury wants to see that those laws passed, and I think they will be pushing Congress to act. And I think that's good. That's forward progress. There are new dynamics of what stablecoins mean to financials kind of settlement. And so I think the CEO, Jeremy Allaire of Circle, is correct that that'll probably happen in the first half of this year.
Now, guys, that is an important point I don't want you to miss. Regulation is coming this year, starting with stable coins, off the heels of the credibility of the Bitcoin ETF and also the lost credibility of the SEC. I think the CFTC will become a main regulator of crypto. Cryptocurrencies are going to begin being called an asset class as opposed to a currency, and that's going to be an important distinction for the mainstream and our lovely boomers to try and wrap around their heads. Oh, my friends, 2024 is going to be the year boomers en masse get into crypto. And if there are some boomers watching, no, this isn't to make fun of you, but this is to give you a signal that your additional boomer friends will be an exit signal. Once things are so easy that your friends who are not tech savvy and people who used to hate on crypto before are now getting into it. Once they start getting into it, that is a top signal. That means the bull run's over. That means they're about to rug the market and you won't know it. Crypto is the future. But you need to understand market cycle phases, and that is how we enter into the new 1%.
Piece in the Journal this morning on how China's crypto traders are evading the rules there. They write this: the success of the country's crypto traders in evading the rules shows how difficult it will be for regulators across the world, including the United States, to actually police this industry. Your reaction?
You know, I think there are elements of that with any new technology. You know, there's obviously the Great Firewall of China is something that has, people have sought to circumvent, evade within China for, probably a decade or two. I think, again, if you think about the activities that these technologies enable, KYC still matters, AML still matters, and ultimately, today, there are the off-ramps through typically exchanges like Coinbase that are very good actors, where I think you are able to enforce these kinds of regulations. That's part of the, the self-inflicted wound of a settlement with Binance, the largest exchange in the world, with the U.S. government, I think a few months ago. Well, that settlement you just referred to, congratulations to you and to Grayscale. What does this mean for you in terms of new business opportunities now that that's behind? Look, Ripple really thrived under the scrutiny of the SEC, but outside the United States. My hope is that now that there is at least clarity for Ripple that XRP is not a security, that opens up the U.S. market a little bit. The challenge, of course, is you still have U.S. regulators who are pretty hostile, right? The SEC continues their litigation, enforcement through litigation, and even the OCC has been pretty negative about crypto. My view is this is a technology, this is an asset class that is here to stay. We need to embrace it and understand that. And I think ultimately the U.S. typically gets it right. It's just taking a little while. So what's the pushback for Jamie Dimon, who was on the program last week saying, look who's using crypto, terrorists, look who's using sex traffickers. My reaction to that is terrorists and sex traffickers use cash. If you look on a percentage basis, I'm not trying to say that any new technology, bad actors can use any new tool. Bad actors will use AI. Bad actors will use crypto. I think there are a lot of very good actors in crypto who are doing the right thing. Ripple only works with regulated financial institutions. You can't have anonymous transactions using Ripple's technology. So, some of those things I think are good political talking points. They're not reality. Yeah, well said. Brad, great to have you this morning. Thank you. Thank you.